Sand. That's the first thing you feel. Not warmth, not softness, not the careful hands of someone who prepared for your arrival. Sand. In your lungs, in your eyes, in every fold of the cloth your mother wraps around you 30 seconds after you enter this world. The Sahara doesn't wait for introductions. Your mother is Tuareg. Your father is Tuareg. Every ancestor going back further than memory. All Tuareg. You didn't choose this life. Nobody asked. The desert was already waiting before you had a name. By age 5, you were walking barefoot on sand that hit 60 degrees Celsius at noon. Your tribe doesn't even notice. There is no electricity. When the sun goes down, the world goes dark. Completely, absolutely, permanently dark. No light switch, no glow, nothing. The stars are your only light, and they are extraordinary. That part, at least, nobody can take from you. Your school has no walls, no desks, no teacher with a gradebook. The desert teaches you everything. Which plants won't kill you, which clouds mean water is coming, which silence means something is wrong. It doesn't give grades, it gives consequences. Most kids in your tribe make it to 10. Most. By 13, the word child no longer applies to you. The Sahara retired it early. Your body has been shaped by years of walking, lifting, and eating whatever was available before it expired. Your skin is deep bronze, permanently weathered by a sun that never once apologized. The boys in your tribe who didn't make it to 13 are not talked about. The desert has a very efficient way of handling weakness. It removes it. At 13, your first real responsibility arrives: the camels. Not admiring them, not riding them for fun. The camels are your economy, your transportation, your water supply, and your social status, all packed into one deeply unpleasant animal that spits at you every single morning without fail. If a camel gets sick, your family gets poorer. If a camel dies, your family might not survive the next crossing. You understand this immediately. From that moment, you treat those animals better than most people today treat their therapists. At 15, you learn the trade routes. The Sahara is not empty. It is a massive, invisible highway connecting West Africa to North Africa, carrying gold, salt, ivory, and slaves across thousands of kilometers. Your tribe is part of this system. Sometimes as guides, sometimes as traders, sometimes as the people who make sure other traders don't wander off the path and disappear forever. At 16, your first real sandstorm hits. You've seen wind before. You've seen dust. This is not that. A haboob is a wall of sand moving at 60 kilometers per hour that turns afternoon into total darkness in under 3 minutes. You tie your camel down, cover your face, press yourself against the nearest solid object, and you wait. And while you wait, you think about every decision that led you here. Then you remember, there were no decisions. You were born here. This is just your life. At 17, while kids somewhere in a distant future scroll through TikTok at midnight, their faces lit blue by a screen in a dark room, you are sitting in complete darkness under 10 billion stars, listening to the desert breathe. No notifications, no algorithm deciding what you see next, no battery dying at the worst possible moment. Just the wind, the sand, and a silence so complete it has weight. They would call your life lonely. You would call their lives loud. By 25, you are a full member of the tribe. Not a junior member, not an intern, a full, load-bearing human being on whom other people's survival depends. This is not a promotion. This is just what happens when everyone older than you either died or got too tired to keep doing their share. Your days follow a brutal, precise rhythm. Before sunrise, you are already awake, not because you want to be, but because the desert makes this decision for you. The morning is the only part of the day that won't actively try to cook you. You pack the camp, load the camels, and begin moving before the sun remembers you exist. The tribe covers 20 to 30 kilometers a day during a major crossing. Some crossings last weeks. The Tenere, a subsection of the Sahara so empty it makes the rest of the Sahara look crowded, can take a month. Water is the only currency that actually matters. Everything else, gold, salt, reputation, is worthless if you run out of water on day 17 of a 25-day crossing. You carry water in goatskin bags. You ration it with a precision that would make a Wall Street trader nervous. What you have is brownish, warm, and tastes like the inside of a goat. You drink every drop anyway. You drink every single drop. Trade is how your tribe survives the parts the desert doesn't kill you. Salt from the mines of Tagaza, worth its literal weight in gold in certain markets. Gold and ivory from the empires of the south. You don't own these goods. You guide them. You protect them. You get paid in food, cloth, and occasionally actual gold, which you immediately spend because carrying gold through the Sahara is less useful than carrying water. Conflict is a constant, low-grade presence. Other tribes, rival clans, desperate men who want what you have. You have no emergency services to call, no backup coming. What you have is your reputation, and in the Sahara, being known as someone who does not back down is sometimes the only armor you need. Violence is always possible. It is never casual. Every fight has consequences that echo for generations. You pick them carefully. By 45, you are the one people come to with questions. Not because you have all the answers, because you've survived long enough to have made every mistake and lived to describe it in detail. Your face tells a story no biography could fully capture. Deep lines carved by decades of sun and wind. A permanent squint from years of staring into harsh light. Gray threading through your black hair and beard. You look like what happens when a human being is put through the Sahara for 4.5 decades. You look exactly like what you are. The tribe is yours now, not by conquest, by attrition and trust. The previous chief died 3 years ago, not in battle, not dramatically, but from an infected wound that would have been treated in 4 minutes in any modern clinic. You were the logical choice. You said yes. You regret it approximately every other day. Being a tribal chief in the Sahara is nothing like being in charge anywhere else. A mayor can delegate. A general has a staff. You have none of these options. Every dispute comes to you. Water rights, camel ownership, accusations of theft, romantic entanglements that somehow became political crises. You are judge, mediator, military strategist, weather forecaster, and grief counselor, all at the same time, all without a salary, all in extreme heat. Water still keeps you awake at night, literally. You check the storage before you sleep and again when you wake. There is no subscription service delivering fresh bottles to your door. There is no door. What you have is what you carried, what you found, and whatever is left after the camels had their share. The desert has never been just heat and sand. You learned this early, but at 45 you have the scars to prove it. Scorpions nest in boots, in blankets, in the dark folds of anything left on the ground overnight. You check everything before you touch it. This is not paranoia, this is experience. You lost a young cousin to a scorpion sting at 19, a healthy boy, gone in 2 days because there was nothing to be done and nowhere to go. Vipers move at night, invisible against the sand, and they do not warn you. 2 men in your tribe over the years, 1 bite each, neither made it to morning. You have taught every child in the camp where to step, where not to reach, and what silence in the dark sometimes means. The Sahara doesn't only kill you with thirst and heat, it has a whole curriculum. The politics of the desert have shifted under your feet. The great empires of the south, Ghana, Mali, are changing. New powers are rising. Trade routes that existed for 3 generations are being disrupted. The salt road that was your grandfather's livelihood is becoming uncertain. You have watched 3 rival tribes collapse in the last decade, not from war, from making wrong decisions at the wrong time. You are determined not to be the 4th. And then there is the drought. It starts as a bad season, then a second bad season. Then you realize this is not a season, this is a shift. The wells your grandfather mapped are running lower. The grass that used to appear after rain is thinner. You make a decision that the elders hate and the young warriors mock. You move the tribe further south than you've ever gone. It costs you credibility. It might save everyone's life. You live with not knowing which one mattered more. You are 63 years old. In the context of the medieval Sahara, this makes you an ancient. Most men you grew up with are gone. Disease, violence, accidents, the desert itself. The Sahara is an excellent collector of human beings. You are one of the ones it decided to keep. You're not entirely sure why. Your body carries the full inventory of a life lived in extreme conditions. A shoulder that hasn't worked right since a camel threw you at 41. A knee that predicts rainfall better than any elder. Lungs that have inhaled enough Saharan dust to fill a moderate-sized building. You do not complain about these things. Complaining is for people who believe things could have been different. You don't believe that. This was your life, the only possible life. The tribe has grown under your leadership. Not dramatically, not without cost, but it grew. The southward gamble paid off. The region you moved to had water, had grass, had enough to sustain the tribe through the worst of the drought. Nobody thanked you directly. That's not how this works. What happened instead was that people stopped second-guessing you. In the Sahara, that is the highest compliment available. You spend your last years doing what old men in your culture do, talking. Not casually, deliberately. You tell the young ones the things that cannot be written down because nothing here is written down. Which stars mean rain is 3 days out? Which sand color means the ground below is soft and dangerous? Which tribe to trust, and which tribe to respect only from a distance? You are a library with legs, and the legs are going. One morning before sunrise, you do not get up with the camp. Your breathing has been shallow for 2 weeks. Your hands have gone quiet. The people around you understand without being told. In your culture, death is not hidden. It is witnessed. Your family sits with you. The fire is kept going. Someone brings water you can no longer drink. The desert outside is perfectly quiet in the way it only is before dawn. No wind, no sound, just the enormity of the Sahara doing what it has always done. Existing, indifferently, forever. You have crossed it. Not metaphorically, literally. Dozens of times. And it never once cared. But you did. You cared enough for both of you. And somehow, that was enough.